Hey everyone, Fierce Technology here. What I have here is the brand new Blackberry Bold 9790 and I have the Blackberry Bold 9900. I'm going to do a comparison video and tell you what the differences are on both of these phones, so stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these both up and I'm going to show you sort of the physical comparison difference between each of these phones. So we'll look at the front first of all. You can definitely see that the 9900 right here on my right is quite a bit bigger. One thing you can see on the 9900 is how the buttons right here are all flush, whereas if we see on the Bold 9790, you can see their actual individual buttons that are now there, whereas on the 9700 and the 9780 they used to have that flush type buttons. Personally, I think they both work well. I don't mind the separate buttons now on the 9790, but the 9900 does have it all flush. They both work very well. It's just a matter of what you prefer. We'll go onto the side right here. I'll hold it this way so you guys can see it better. So we can see right now on the 9900 we've got the 3.5mm headphone jack, same thing on the Bold 9790, and we have the USB charging port right here on this side as well, but we don't have it on the 9790. Go to the top, we've got the lock button and the lock button. You can see the nice silver bezel around the full 9900, whereas on the Bold 9790 it's sort of merged with the front of it, but it still is around the sides as well. It's not as thick feeling. We'll go on to the other side right here, and you can see the volume up and down buttons on the Bold 9900. They are there on the 9790, they're just a little bit more blended in. And we've got the camera button right here. And we do have buttons in the middle right here which you can use as your pause and play. We'll go to the bottom. So you can see on the bottom of the 9790 we've got the micro USB charging port, and on the Bold 9900 we've got these little pods right here which you can use to put it into the pod charger. So weight wise, the Bold 9790 weighs 130 grams, whereas the Bold 9900 weighs 157 grams, so it's about 27 grams heavier than 9900. It's quite honestly not that noticeable if you hold them both. The weight's a little bit more spread out on the 9900, but it's definitely slightly heavier, just not very noticeable. For the screens on both of the phones, the 9790 uses a 2.45-inch screen with a resolution of 480 by 360, whereas the 9900 uses a 2.8-inch screen with a 640 by 480 resolution. So you can definitely see the colors on the 9900 are slightly better. Everything just looks a little bit more clear, but they do use both the touchscreen display as well, as you can see right there. The processors inside of the phone, the 9790 uses a 1 GHz processor, whereas the 9900 uses a 1.2 GHz processor. These are the Snapdragon processors. They are very quick on both phones. Just going through, you can see just a little bit more smoothness on the 9900 compared to the 9790, but barely noticeable at all. It's both very quick processors. Really nice to have those quick processors inside of these nice small phones. So we'll go to the back of each of these phones now, which I didn't show you before. I've saved it for you guys just so I can show you what's on the back. So we do have a nice carbon fiber type material on the back of the Bold 9900, which I really like the feeling of it. And the Bold 9790 uses a sort of flat back, almost a little bit rubbery or plastic type material. Not a huge fan of it. I would have really preferred to have a more professional, like leather type feeling like the 9780s or the 9700s, but they've gone to this flat back on here. So we'll go to the cameras now. The 9790 uses a 5-megapixel camera with the LED flash. It takes VGA video quality and it uses autofocus. The Bold 9900 uses the same 5.0 megapixel camera with the LED flash, but it takes 720p HD video, but there's no autofocus. It uses the Blackberry's always in focus camera. Personally, I prefer the autofocus. I just think it's better for close-up pictures, and it takes a little bit slightly longer to take pictures, but I believe the picture quality to me just looks better with the autofocus. So here we are inside of the cameras here. Obviously I'm pointing them right to my desk right here, so you're not going to see much out of the displays, but we do have a 2x digital zoom with the Bold 9790, and we have a 4x digital zoom with the Bold 9900. They both do have these scene type modes. I'll go into your 9900 right here just to show you. So these scene modes you can sort of set up to have different types of things. So we've got auto, face detection, portrait, sports, landscape, party, close-up, snow, beach, and a couple other ones here. So that's pretty much all those scene modes. So if you're in a different scene, you can manually set it to that, or you can just keep it in the auto mode. Personally, I usually just keep it in the auto mode rather than playing around with the scenes, and the auto mode usually does quite a good job. So the next thing we'll go to is speeds for the phones. The Bold 9790 runs on 3G at 7.2 megabits per second, whereas the Bold 9900 also runs on 3G at 14.4 megabits per second. A lot of people say that the Bold 9900 runs on 4G, but it's actually still running on 3G speeds at 14.4 megabits per second. True 4G runs at 42 megabits per second. So both these phones are not nearly as close as the true 4G speeds. Both of these phones have 8 gigabytes of built-in internal memory. They do have expandable memory card slots, which you can pick up memory cards now up to about 32 and 64 gigabytes, so you can insert those into the phone. So we're going to go to the back of each of the phones again, and I'm going to take off the back covers just to show you what's inside and show you how the back covers come off. So we'll start with the 9900. You just sort of put your fingernail in here and just sort of flip it up, and then it just comes right off. And there we have a JM1 battery in there, so we'll take that out. And we've got SIM card slot, and we've got the micro USB slot right there, which you stick your micro USB card into it. So we'll put that aside there. And then this is the 9790, so it's got this slide off cover in typical 9700, 9780 fashion, so that just comes right off there. And we can also see that it's got the same JM1 battery inside, and we'll take the battery out, and there we have a SIM card inside of the SIM card slot, and we have the micro USB slot right up here. The last thing I'm going to go over is the price difference on each of these devices. Most retailers price them about $150 in difference in price. Currently in Canada, this retails for $629, and the Bold 9790 retails for $479. So it's approximately $150 price difference on each of these phones. That's just something to note. So if you're not looking to spend a lot of money and you want to get yourself a nice touchscreen with full keypad device, the 9790 is such a great device. And the Bold 9900 is sort of the trademark flagship device from REM. So both great devices. That's it. I'm not going to go into too much detail as far as operating system goes. As you already know, they're both touchscreen and they both run on OS 7. Blackberry OS 7, so they're essentially exactly the same operating system, so I'm not going to give you a lot of demo or much demo at all with the operating system, but that's about it. I'd love to hear your questions and comments below. Tell me which device you prefer and which device you're getting, and any questions you have with either of these devices I'll be more than happy to answer. And that's it. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to have a ton more Blackberry and other device reviews as well as unboxings, and I post videos regularly, so don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next review. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.